Aristotle said educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. We can teach children to read and write and do math, and we should. But if we're not letting them know how much we care and value them as people, then we have failed to educate the heart. We started Rainbow Days to help children come together and connect, to realize that they were not the only one, that there were other children experiencing the challenges that they were experiencing, and that there was hope. My daughter was born in 1974. When I brought her home from the hospital, I was elated and yet pretty quickly overtaken by a postpartum depression. So I went to my doctor and he said, something that will really help that is if you'll drink a few glasses of wine before dinner, that will increase your appetite. But within a very, very short period of time, I had a full-blown addiction. As I learned more about it, I realized I had grown up in an alcoholic home. And then I looked at my 7-year-old daughter, Catherine, and I knew that without some type of intervention, she was highly likely to repeat that cycle of alcoholism and addiction. I have a teaching and counseling background. It just became apparent. In fact, it really became a calling that I would start a support group for young children of alcoholics that would include, of course, my daughter, Catherine.
I was 8 years old when Rainbow Days started, and I have a lot of memories of those first groups and that small, intimate setting over at Lovers Lane United Methodist, meeting other kids who were in similar situations to me, friends who understood my story and what being the child of an alcoholic was like.
When we started Rainbow Days, we looked at what other people in the country had been doing with young children in support groups. And we took all that research and we put it into the very, very first curriculum that we developed.
I have a lot of memories of my mom developing the curriculum and how something as simple as Sunshine and Cloud just allows children to open up, and it allows people to open up in general.
I realized that in order for us to really reach the magnitude of children that we needed to reach, we needed to be in the schools. So we were fortunate to be able to go into the Green Prairie Independent School District.
In the Community Connection program, we have a culturally diverse team of people, and we serve the children there at the schools because that gives us structured forum to do support groups for the kids. We do positive behavioral health promotion presentations for the kids and positive life enrichment activities. Every child has their own background. Every child has their own issue or insecurity or trauma, and every child is needing to be told that they are okay in this moment in time. And if you teach the social emotional learning skills at a young age, the sooner that they're able to recognize when they have an issue, identify what that problem is, and learn that they can ask for help.
Training principals and teachers and counselors in how to implement the groups themselves was a real milestone because that opened the door for other school districts.
When I came to Rainbow Days, I'll never forget participating in my first curriculum-based support group training and calling my boyfriend, now my husband at the time, and saying, this is the most amazing program I have ever seen in my life. Like, why is this not in every school in America? Every kid needs to hear this.
In the late 1980s, we became aware of the fact that there were children who were experiencing homelessness. And that just seemed far beyond our comprehension. There was one emergency family shelter in Dallas, and that was the Family Gateway. And we approached them and we said, we've got this great program. We know it works for children in schools and communities. We believe it will work for children in your facility. Can we come in and give it a try? And they opened their doors. We left that experience knowing that, yes, indeed, the children in the shelter could benefit, but they needed a lot more.
We tried the curriculum that we had at that time, and we found it didn't work with these homeless kids. They were too transient. We needed to get them in one session to have them build their resiliency and protective factors.
We applied for and we received a federal grant through HUD that gave us the opportunity to really experiment and find out what worked, what didn't work, and what children living in a shelter situation needed. Toward the end of that 5-year grant, the major messages: I am, I can, I have, I will, I believe. became core to our program. That's the heart and soul of what we teach.
We work with about 30 sites. We're in shelters, emergency shelters, domestic violence shelters, sex trafficking shelters.
Put yourself in the worn out shoes of these kids. They hope the kids in their class don't know that they're living in a shelter. And that's where Rainbow Days steps in. We'll make sure you have the supplies, the uniforms, so when you step in that classroom, you're in the same footing as they are.
We take the kids to camp,
which is now called Camp Bravo, where children get the chance to be on stage and to sing and to dance, no talent required.
I want them to hold their heads proud and know that they can do what anybody else can do. Nothing can hold them back.
A huge milestone for us with Crystal Charity Ball. Their funding allowed us to expand, to begin offering actual food program for some of the families living in motels.
So often our clients are the working poor, and certainly when they're at risk of homelessness, leaving their job to come get the nutrition needs they have for their children and their families can be very challenging. And so the fact that we have an organization in our partnership that's found a way to take that food to that family, regardless of where they are, that's important, because we know the nutrition is the part that really feeds not just the mind, but the body and the soul.
As Rainbow Days celebrates our 40th anniversary, we're extremely grateful to our founder, Kathy Brown, for giving us the strong foundation to grow over the next 40 years. Our unique curriculum has won dozens of awards. It has been independently evaluated 3 different times. It has been proven to produce life-changing results in children. The messages that are taught in our curriculum, they've been life-changing in my life, and they're life-changing in tens of thousands of children and youth and adults that we serve each and every year.
We've trained adults in 44 of the 50 states. We've trained people in the crowded suburbs of London and in the remote rural areas of Ecuador.
Rainbow Days is not just a service for children living in poverty. It's for every child. If everybody could hear this positive messaging, it would go so far.
Our vision for the future is that our curriculum-based support group program would be offered in every elementary, middle, and high school in Texas. Nationally, we are pursuing new long-term opportunities to double the number who are served throughout the United States as a result of our training program and curricula sales.
We have to keep working with these kids because they deserve a promising future.
My greatest hope is that Rainbow Days will continue to be there generation after generation, and we can be part of the solution. We can be part of the reason that they make the healthy choices and that their lives become all that they are meant to be.